Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have some good news for you guys. I have new polling for Donald Trump, bad news for him. The good news for us, he hit another new low. Democrats now have a better chance than ever of taking over the House and Senate. So, first, I want to show you the Economist YouGov poll. So, take a look at this. They do a weekly. So, this is not monthly, but it's down to 34% approval, 58% disapproval, down almost 2 points in 1 week. And the Economist said that Donald Trump is now officially the most unpopular president since they started tracking this all the way back in 2009. And they said their forecasting model shows the Democrats have a 9 out of 10 chance of taking control of the House. He's, as always, underwater on all the issues. He has also fallen off a cliff with white male voters, which were his hardcore base. So take a look at this. I mean, look at where he is now. He's almost to the -20 mark on men and probably about -10 almost with white people. And then look at where he is with black voters. I don't think he could get much lower than that. Like, who's left at this point? You've got even Candace Owens abandoned him, is over it. Like, you've got Nick Cannon, right? The actor Nick Cannon, that guy who calls himself the Black Nazi over in North Carolina, Mark Robinson. And then I think Nicki Minaj is still hanging on, trying to get her husband a pardon. But anyway, and that's just a joke. I don't know for sure that that's her reasoning, but it seems a little coincidental. Anyway, check out how he's doing now with male voters, or I think it is it male? No, it's all voters under the age of 30, I think is this next video I have for you.
Minus 55 points. That's a switcheroo of what this? That's 56 points. 56 points in just a year and a half.
So it is men. It was just men under 30. He is now flipped 56% or 56 points in 1 year, 1.5 years, roughly. And then check out what this other key voting bloc is doing, how they've flipped on Trump. So take a look at this article. So they say 25% now of Hispanic voters who voted for Trump in 2024, 25% of them now regret it. And more than half of them say that his economic policies are making their life worse. 52%. Why more than 25% don't already regret it? I don't know. But anyway, this poll was conducted by Unidos US. They're the largest Latino advocacy group and civil rights group in the US. And they surveyed these just registered Republicans, registered Hispanic, not Republicans, registered Hispanic voters in competitive districts throughout the United States. So here's more of what they found. They said the poll reveals that 76% of those surveyed plan to show up to the polls in November. Good news. And then they said, as rising costs and inflation continue to shape the daily realities of Latino families, fueling widespread dissatisfaction with the current direction of the country. More than 2/3, 88% or 68% of Hispanic voters surveyed believe the country is heading in the wrong direction. And 2/3, 66%, say that President Donald Trump and the congressional Republicans are simply not focusing on improving the economy. You don't say. And then check these out. So it says these are some of their key findings. An overwhelming 84% of Hispanic voters are concerned that Congress is not exercising its checks and balances role and giving up too much authority to the president/executive branch. And then the number 3 is nationally, a clear majority of Hispanic voters, 67%, disapprove of president's performance. Majority disapproval holds in every region, including Florida. Now, I don't want you to get too excited about what it says about Florida, because I did, and then I read a little further. So take a look at this. So this is breaking it down, how Democrats lead in the generic House ballot. However, if you look at the fourth line down, that is the Florida, because they've broken this down by states that they surveyed, by age group, by party registration. Florida voters say 38% of them said that this is Hispanic voters. 38% of the Hispanic voters surveyed said that they would vote for the Democrat if the election was held today, midterm election. However, 42% said that they would vote for the Republican still. So uh, I'm sorry, but they're just ridiculous. And then you have, how many is that? 19% that's still undecided. Are you freaking kidding me? So a plurality would still vote for the Republicans. I just don't even know what to say, right? And then look at this next one, at who likely helped Donald Trump in 2024, helped to push him over the edge. So again, this is broken down based on who they voted for, whether or not it was their first election, if they, first voted in 2020, 2022, prior to 2020. So a plurality, if you look all the way down, the fourth from the bottom, the 18 to 29-year-olds, 39%, a plurality of all of these Hispanic voters, the youngest ones voted for the first time, cast their first ballot in 2024. So you have to think a lot of them probably voted for Trump, right? They believed he was their economic savior. Well, look at how this age group is feeling now.
On the economy, those that powered Trump to victory, men under 30 on economic conditions. Before Trump came into office, 66% of them said it was, in fact, the economic conditions were poor. They were hoping that Trump would solve it. But they view the economic conditions even worse today than just before when Trump got into office. Look at this, 79% this year say that, in fact, economic conditions, young men, those under the age of 30, say that economic conditions are poor. The good percentage, it was 34%. It was just 1 in 3. But now it's just 1 in 5. 21% say economic conditions are good.
So that was an average of all CNN SSRS polls. And obviously that represented all men under 30, not just Hispanic men, but it is still relevant. And then I also want to show you guys some polling data from the latest Gallup survey. So this shows that more voters are starting to identify as Democrats or Democratic leaning, like independents, non-affiliated voters. So check this one out.
Democrats right now have a 13-point lead. A 13-point lead on Republicans on this most basic of measure. And when we look back at prior midterm cycles, at this point, this 13-point lead is bigger than any in at least 20 years. It even beats 2006, when Democrats easily took back the U.S. House of Representatives and gained 6 Senate seats, which if it happened this year, Democrats would be, yeah, that is perfect for us. We would take back the Senate as well.
Yeah. So when you include independents and no party preference voters, more people now consider themselves to be Democrats than Republicans. So very good sign. Like he said, it indicates that, yeah, Democrats have a very good shot at the Senate. And here's what voters said when Gallup asked them, which party do you trust more to solve your top issue? So they didn't tell people what their top issue should be, but they said, whatever your top issue is, who do you trust more on that?
That same 13-point lead that Democrats have over Republicans on which party they trust more to handle the top issue. And that, look at this. This really tells the story. Look at 2022. Republicans were trusted more by 11 points. More by 11 points. This is the inverse of that. This lead, this 13-point lead, look at, this green line. This is very similar to what we saw all the way back in 2006, which I said is exactly what Democrats want to happen, right? Take back not just the House, but take back the United States Senate as well.
Okay, Harry Enton and I would be such best friends. We would be BFFs. We would have sleepovers. Anyway, this last one that I have for you guys, this is based on an aggregate of polls. So this is not just Gallup. This is an aggregate of the polling on the generic ballot question. So take a look.
Midterm cycles, Democrats right now have a 7-point advantage, and that is, again, the strongest that they have had. You got to go all the way back to 2006 when Democrats held an 11-point lead. But this 7 points, look at this. It's more than double what Democrats had in 2018 when, of course, they were able to take back the U.S. House, gaining about 40 seats. I know what you're saying. Hey, Republicans have been doing all this redistricting, right? Especially in the South as of recent. Well, this 7-point lead, well, it overcomes, even with the redistricting, it overcomes that barrier. Because take a look at Democrats in the National House vote margin. Right now, their lead, 7 points. What is needed in order to take back the U.S. House with redistricting? You need only a 3-point advantage. Democrats right now running well ahead of where they need to be, even controlling for redistricting in terms of the U.S. House vote.
Awesome, awesome news. So it's looking good, guys. Of course, again, we can't get cocky. We can't just take it for granted because we don't know what Donald Trump is up to, right? He's like, oh, I don't care about the midterms. Well, why is that? Why does he not care about the midterms? So if it is free and fair, the Democrats look like they're going to run away with it. And so bad news for Republicans, bad news for Trump, even with their gerrymandering, their redistricting BS. And Harry Antum went on, I should say, to show that Democrats also have an 8-point advantage when it comes to voter enthusiasm. So he said that Democrats, 75% of the Democrats said that they are definitely going to vote in the midterms, whereas and that included Democratic leaning independents, whereas the Republicans, they said, and Republican leaning independents, it was only 67%. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. I'll have more polling for you, of course. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.